In this video, we're going to start with a little bit of talk about how Bitcoin's done the past few years, how risky it is. Then we'll talk about kind of what people really like about it. What are the strengths that Bitcoin enthusiasts really like about it? And then we'll end on a quick chat about, why does anything have value? Why does art or gold or houses, why does anything have value? In order to do this, I'm going to require one thing of you. Just that you're intellectually open to new ideas. I really, really need you to be intellectually open to new ideas. Because if you're not, none of this is really going to matter. None of this will make sense to you. You're going to get to the end of this and say, hey, that was nice, but I really don't care. And you know what? Honestly, that's fine. If you get to the end of these two videos and you say, listen, I still kind of don't get it. I don't understand why it's trading for 48,000. I just don't get it. That's fine. You don't have to. I'm just trying to help you understand the current state of the world when it comes to Bitcoin. Like, I'm never going to transact in the art world. I don't know why one piece of art's worth more than another. I don't get it. They're paintings. But I kind of generally understand scarcity and value and the story about something. I get that. So for this video, I need you to be intellectually open. How has Bitcoin done the past few years? I pulled a chart up about the performance of Bitcoin for the past few years. This is the growth of $10,000 in Bitcoin from SEP 2018 to SEP 2021. The blue line, $10,000 became about 82,000 in Bitcoin. I threw the red line on here. It's the S&P 500. 10,000 became about 16,000 in the stock market. Obviously, Bitcoin significantly outperformed the stock market over that time frame. What I do want you to notice is at the start here, this $10,000 gets cut in half almost immediately. You'll see the low down there of about $5,000. The 10 grand got cut in half immediately. This, my friends, is a super volatile instrument. This is a kind of price off high chart, which means how far is something from its high, okay? So something's trading its high, how far did it drop before it returned to its high? Look at Bitcoin over this time frame. It dropped 52% right away. 52%. Manages to get back to its high. It then falls 61%. Manages to get back to its high. Then falls 20% back to its high. Then falls 50% again. And it's still not back to its high here in September of 2021. This thing is ridiculously volatile. If you're the kind of person that can't handle a couple percent sell-off in the market, or March of 2020 when the stock market was down 30%, if that really rattled you, this is not for you. This is a incredibly volatile thing. It loses half of its value all the time. So if you know the backdrop of Bitcoin, go into it knowing this is super volatile. And again, past performance, no guarantee of future results, just kind of showing you where it's been and just how crazy it is over the past few years. What do people like about Bitcoin? What do people really like about it? Let's remind ourselves from our previous video that it's decentralized. There's no one person that holds the ledger, right? The ledger of transactions and accounts is held on a bunch of different computers. That's the decentralized nature of it. So they like that a lot. They really like that a lot. If one person holds a ledger, it can be hacked. It's risky. If that ledger's lost or gets tampered with, there's no backup, right? And in the case of Bitcoin, it's decentralized. Each part of the blockchain holds this ledger, and people like that. That's more secure. They like the fact that the supply of it is capped. I mentioned that the reward, right? The reward for participating in the network was Bitcoins, and those are tradable. That reward is capped at 21 million. There can never be more than 21 million of these Bitcoins. It's capped. Right now, there's about a little over 18 million in circulation. 21 is the cap. Think about the US dollar, right? The US dollar is controlled by the US government. They can print an infinite amount. In fact, we printed 7 trillion to fight COVID. The US government can print an infinite amount. Bitcoin is capped, so its supply is capped. People like that. But you say, Mike, why don't they just uncap it? Just make more. Well, every node has to agree. To change the rules, everybody has to agree. Every single part of that decentralized network. When you say, Mike, just go create another Bitcoin. Sure, go ahead. There's lots of coins out there. But a lot of people are using Bitcoin. That gives it what's called a network effect, right? There's a lot of people already using it. That gives it momentum. That gives it its part of its strength. It also allows people across all income levels and geographies and to be able to interact with it. You don't have to have a certain credit score. You don't have to go to a bank branch. It's truly global. If you have Bitcoins, you can take them anywhere in the world. If you're in a country where it's hard to get money out or there's capital controls, Bitcoin's globally portable. People like that. And the thing that people super love about Bitcoin is every transaction's on the ledger. You can look all the way into the past. It's all open. Remember, the bank ledgers, only the bank knows what's in the ledger. In this case, all the transactions are known. People like that. There's no one group controlling information. So, Bitcoin is really, really all about this decentralized cap on its supply. It's globally portable. There's no central authority. That's different than the dollar, right? The dollar can be printed to an infinite amount. We can print an infinite amount of dollars. People like this kind of hard cap on Bitcoin. Now let's end on just, it's worth $48,000 today, right? During this video, it's worth 48,000 US dollars today for one Bitcoin. Why? This is, again, where I need you to be intellectually open. Why is anything worth anything, I guess? I mentioned earlier art. Why is a piece of art worth whatever? There's art that trades for hundreds of millions of dollars. Well, you say, Mike, it's scarce. There's only one of them. And it's physical, right? I can actually touch it. It's physical. And people have agreed that the art is worth that value. Right? Right? There's no person who's saying what it's worth. We just generally agree that that's what it's worth through an auction. That's generally how art gets valued. What about gold, right? At one point in the past, somebody dug gold out of the ground and said, this is worth something. And I'm sure a bunch of people said, no, it's not. You just dug it out of the ground. Why is it worth anything? But some people probably said, yeah, that could be worth something. It's shiny, it's portable, it's divisible. Sure, that could be worth something. But at day zero of gold, there were probably some people that said, you just dug this out of the ground. How can it be worth anything? What is a stock worth? Well, a stock is kind of a claim on a corporation's profits. But you have to tell yourself a story about the future, right? You have to tell yourself a story that the company will get bigger and keep making products and keep making profits. Right? You might say, well, a stock is kind of a claim on future cash flows. Well, it is. Well, it is, but people will pay more or less for those cash flows, and that's the story that they tell themselves. It's going to be worth more in the future. It's going to be worth less in the future. Bitcoin, my friends, it's a new kind of asset. It's a digital asset. I personally, Mike Antonelli, do not think it's going to end up being a replacement for the US dollar. I don't think it's going to be a global currency. I just view it as a new kind of digital asset. Some people liken it to digital gold. Instead of being a physical piece of gold, it's a digital asset. There's a supply of it that's capped. It's a way to transact, so there's a global banking or a transactional system backing it. Bitcoin, my friends, it's a new thing. It's a new thing. You don't have to worry about it. You don't have to invest in it. You don't have to transact in it. The purpose of these two videos was just to kind of discuss broad topics around Bitcoin. So I'm going to probably continue the series talking about other types of coins, say, Ethereum or Solana. And then I think we should probably do a video on what NFTs are. That's kind of an up and coming topic. So stay tuned for those, and we'll see you soon.